in a few
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to stack that so you can see what it looks like. But I just want to know from you all, so you're saying it didn't look like much, I'm going to tell you it kind of does.
Well,
it's going to be, it's from the one example, just from that one thing, I think it's going from 20 to 35. Well, that's $15.
No,
Just on that one utility, no.
The one utility went up 20.
No, I'm
but
saying
others
the
were-
base charge. The base charge
Okay.
for wastewater.
Well, I know it, but Scott, I
It's okay.
can't answer your question until you show me.
Right, but look, so it's going from 20 to 30. So if I am a basic user, just on this one utility, my bill went up $10.
Okay.
And
That's
it's
just
gonna-
that one utility.
it's gonna do the
Now, if I
same
layer
thing.
in gas, gas is going up by $2. So now my bill's up $12. And if I layer in water, water went up by, I can't remember how much.
$3 or $4.
So
So
there's,
what is
so now I'm up
left?
to 15 or 16.
But then if you're a 500 kilowatt hour customer, you're going to experience about a $5 drop. So the net increase though is you're still going to have a net increase.
And I'm just telling you, little old ladies are going to call you and say and scream and say my bill is that.
$20.
And that's my concern. But on the other hand, there is the argument to be made. Hey, we're going to rip the bandage off, and we're going to do this in this year, and we will mitigate that issue with a senior rate or a senior program of some kind or something else, so that because we're going to get those calls regardless, frankly, whether we do it $2 at a time over 10 years or we do a $10 increase all at once.
Well, can you bring that back to us and then we'll talk about it?
I'll tell you specifically from my standpoint, I think that the crucial thing is that we get it in place before we start adding a bunch of homes. That's the crucial thing. How we get to that point, I think we're okay with. I think that what we need to do is put together some graphs that really visually represent what the changes are. I've got a picture of how we can actually present that. If we can pull the data out of our systems, I can work with you on actually putting together some visuals that would demonstrate that. And I think if we look at it graphically, I think it'll be a lot easier to make some of those determinations.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a couple ideas too, based on what you're describing, so.
I want to just say, just again, clear in our minds, whatever we come up with, my goal will be to bring you a solution, a rate solution that from a utility standpoint, you don't have to worry about utilities.
Hi, John.
That we will have enough capital money to address all the crap that people complain about, the water. It won't be done at once. We can't possibly do it all at once, but we will have a system in place that will fund all those capital needs for a fairly long period of time, well over 4 years. I mean, we'll be in 6 or 10 year kind of implementation process.
And, it's not an easy decision. It's a lot of hard choices and it impacts real people. So, I don't envy you on your side of that. Is that you have to think about things, and we're more than happy to support whatever you guys need to see or whatever you all need to see as we look forward.
The other decision y'all made that did make it made a significant impact. The fact that we did the changes we went to a franchise fee and we put our costs over there, that made a huge difference. The fact that you took on $234,000 worth of debt service into the general fund, that's $234,000 that's not in the utility fund, that now can go towards new utility debt, but doesn't impact the rate model that we have. So there's a not insignificant amount of savings that you've already done that really helped this process.
This is a ton of detail. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
We're
Yeah.
missing some, but you provided a ton.
I don't think we could have swallowed any more.
Yeah.
We'll bring 150 slides next time.
Because 10 o'clock is way too early to get out of here.
Okay.
You'll have her to deal with. Okay. So
Staff report.
staff reports is the next item.
And I was going to say, if you have any questions, I'm going to end it, but I'm going to tell you this. In the staff report, in the community development portion, she went ahead and included what our enforcement process is. I just want to make you aware of that, make sure you look at that. We've had some concerns about code enforcement recently, and I think there's when people want something done, they want it done yesterday, but then when you show up on their door and it's their neighbor complaining on them, they want to know, why is the Gestapo here to stop me from exercising my rights as a Texas landowner.
My property.
So we have to walk that line. She laid out what our policy is by law, et cetera. So I would encourage you to familiar yourself with that and share it with your constituents when they have a concern. Say, hey, look, we're trying to be reasonable. We understand this is something you don't like, but we're trying to be reasonable, not just with you, so that when it's your turn to be picked on by the city, you don't scream and holler.
Related to that, code enforcement, we used to get reports that showed each code enforcement, and it showed over here open or how it's proceeding.
I still have the ability to produce those, and we'll start producing those.
Yeah, if you can do that.
Darren, you and I discussed putting this in the, what do you call it? The, why can't I say it, consent agenda? Because we all get these reports, we can read them ahead of time. And if there's a question, then we can pull them out of the consent agenda to discuss them individually. But that would save us a lot of time.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're doing here. Did anybody have any questions about the stuff that was in the report?
Brianna said they didn't have an HLC meeting in August, and they had one on August 3rd. So she can correct that report.
Okay. Next item, so discussion on future agenda items. I want to bring up one, and as soon as we can get this onto the agenda we're talking about October, I think, for the CCC?
Yes.
When were we going to try and get that? That was,
Yeah, I'm trying to decide whether we want to do all that in October or November, either on October 26th or possibly soon thereafter in November, but we're only having one meeting in October, one in November,
Okay.
and one in December.
That's it.
So you and I will work on that, but that's going to be the time to do that, because we're going to start,
okay.
because we're going to do the notice of intent. I'm going to include all that stuff in notice of intent, but we might want to do a workshop on the 26th.
Okay.
Like as part of the council meeting.
All right, I'll work
Just
with
on
her on
capital.
the length of it and figure out when that can, like when it fits in best.
10 minutes,
Okay.
the most.
All right, let's figure out when we can put that in, but I do want to make sure that we do cover that.
Hey, just a CIP discussion on the CCC, the Community Center Complex.
The Castroville
but-
Community Complex.
But it'll be in it, I think we talk about that, and then we also talk about, okay, now that we've committed to 5 million and 6 million, here's what this looks like from a utility and a general fund side.
Okay, all right. Did you have anything else? All right, anybody else for future agenda items? All right, well, that concludes our agenda. We are adjourned at 10:06. Goodness.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you both.
Deborah, you be careful getting home.
Seriously.
Oh, I shall.